So, good afternoon, dear students, and a warm welcome to all of you. Today is the 23rd of August. We continue with our lecture on ethics, integrity, and aptitude. So, last time we have seen some basic foundational concepts. I think I had given you some homework to do. So, I hope all of you have tried to do something or the other. So, can you all tell me something about what is ethics? Let us just take a short revision before we go further so that I know that you all are. Yes, anyone? Hello.
Yeah, please interact with sir. Please give answer to sir's question.
So I hope all of you remember we studied ethics, values, virtues, right? And then we seen the differences between them and we try to understand what is the difference, what is the point. Yeah. So I hope all of you remember. Yes, Shraddha. Hello, I can't hear your voice. Aditya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, tell me.
Can you
I
repeat the
think
question?
what is ethics? What you understood? You were present physically, right? Last time in the lecture?
No, I wasn't. It was someone else.
Okay, okay.
So ethics is the system of uh, it is a it is a it is a system of agreed upon behavior that any given society or a community or an institution has instituted so that they can ensure a smooth functioning of that given organization.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Aditya. Aryan. So I think many of you have forgotten. The older students. Siddhi.
Sir, they are a set of moral principles which help conduct individual's behavior in the society.
Okay. Okay, can you give me an example?
Sir, it actually depends on one's environment. If he has been born and brought up in a uh, bad environment, for example, where there is abuse, trauma, then it is bound that he is set to develop a bad type of ethical attitude towards the society. Whether as on the contrary, if he is born and brought up in a good environment, so he will portray that same behavior towards the well-being of the society.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else?
So may I?
Yeah.
So, like, there's an example. Ethics can be a code of conduct or a code of ethics. Every institution which operates at a larger scale tends to have a code of conduct or a code of ethics. Let's say a professional institution like the American Psychological Association. So they have this ethical conduct which determines how their professionals are supposed to behave with the clients, and it has given a different types of scenarios. So, for example, if a client and a professional were in a relationship, professional relationship, then they cannot get into a a personal relationship for the next 5 years, and so on.
Yes. So, thank you, Aditya. So now, last time what we seen was I had defined to you all what ethics exactly is. Okay. So I was looking out for that. And undoubtedly, I asked for the example also. So we've seen that ethics comes from the Greek word ethos, which means character or ways of behavior, generally accepted set of principles. Some of you gave the answer, some of you told that. So it is essentially about making right choice and decision. Then we seen how it is different from morals. That means morals is defined as the Latin from the Latin word mors, which means custom or habit, values, ideas, and beliefs of an individual, which are used to determine goodness and badness, okay, or rightness and wrongness of thoughts, behavior, and action. So we've seen the difference between both of them. What ethics is, what is morals. Ethics comes from Greek word, morals come from Latin word. Ethics are the accepted set of principles that guide thoughts, behavior, and principles, and morals are values, ideas, and beliefs determine the goodness and badness or rightness and wrongness of an action. Then ethics are at the society, institution, and individual level. Morals are more or less at the individual level. Then we seen that where do they come from? So ethics is externally, and morals comes from the individual. That is internally. It stems from the individual person. Now also we seen that society, because ethics comes because society says it is the right thing to do so, and morals is because we believe in something being right or wrong. Yeah. So I think we did this. Then we did what are values. Do you all remember now something? And I told you all to write an answer. Ethics constrain while values motivate. Right or no? Hello. So what are values now?
May I?
Yeah.
So, if ethics can be described as external locus of control, then values are internal locus of control. So, in a sense, that ethics is constraining because it is something that many individuals come together and agree upon that this is ethical and this is not. So, in that way, it constrains. But values, on the other hand, they are like internal locus of control of an individual. So, suppose if an individual has the top value, like there is a hierarchy of values. So if the top value is freedom, then all the other values are going to be positioned in such a way that they support that highest value. So if an individual has freedom as the highest value, then other values, for example, maybe a sense of order or let's say power, are going to be subordinated to freedom. But if some people want to have order as their topmost value, then other values are going to get subordinated to order, and so on.
Yes, that's right. So we've seen what is ethics, what is morals. Now values are the enduring beliefs, attitude, and preferences. That means what we give importance to or what we give priority to. Okay. That means the priority of a community, of an institution, of a society. So what it gives most important or value, what it values. So based on whatever we value, that becomes a guiding principle to us. So as Aditya rightly mentioned, if supposing somebody has freedom as this topmost value, then everything else will be centered around that kind of a value system. So that value system will build a chain of hierarchy will build up. Now, so what it can be, that means what is worth, what we give most important priority. Like supposing now all of you are preparing for the civil service examination. So now what is your value? Say, I would like all of you, some of you to answer, okay? Because it becomes very difficult. First of all, if we are not receiving answer, I cannot come to know whether you have understood or not understood. Okay, so it will be better cooperative if all of you, some of you try to give answers and respond, right? Yes, Sakshi.
Yeah, so to dedicate ourselves and study and be fully dedicated to our own studies.
Yeah.
Our
So where do you dedication? Okay. Yeah. What else? Anybody else can give an example?
Sir, empathy.
Empathy. Now, empathy will more than a value. It will be what you can say. It is no doubt it is a value. It is one of the values of the civil services. It is more of I'm talking at an individual level. Undoubtedly, empathy is a correct thing. But now here I'm talking with regard to preparation for the exam as students. Samyak?
Sir, in regard to preparation, I think uh, I can't think of a
See, because
proper
what you all have
way.
said now found that is the foundational value. जो empathy आपने बोला है, or whoever has given the answer, empathy, that is one of the values of the civil services which are required. That is
Yeah, sure.
right.
Yes,
But
yes.
when you are preparing, now you are not yet a civil servant.
Yes,
So when
correct.
you are not yet selected as a civil servant, as an aspirant, as a student, so what is the value? What values guide you? What is the value? That is my question exactly.
Uh, Sir, I can't think of anything right now, but uh, I mean, can you can you tell any proper
compassion.
values?
Yes,
Pa-
Shraddha.
Passion might be a good value as
Yeah, but now
Compassion,
passion
sir.
means passion towards what? See, passion. When we say passion, there are we are passionate about many things, right?
sir,
There can be
determination.
determination can be okay. I would accept that. Because when we say passion, now passion, we can be passionate about so many things, right? Now, some people are passionate about cricket, some people are passionate about football, some are passionate about politics, some are passionate about, every field has its own passion where they are passionate about something or the other. Okay, whichever field a person is there, he may be passionate, he or she may be passionate in that particular field, right? So anyway, I hope all of you understood that what is a value. Basically, whatever we give significance to or most importance to. Now, values can be good or bad. That means what we call as virtue or vice. Okay. So when a value is good, it is virtuous. Okay. What is a good habit? That means what is on a so whatever is virtue is good. So that means we keep collecting that. So that becomes good, and whatever is bad becomes a vice. So there can be bad values also which we can pick up, and they can be bad. So can somebody give me an example of bad or vices, bad values or vices?
Sir, a proper value, if we talk about, then is perseverance instead of
Yes,
passion.
perseverance. Yeah, that is right. Perseverance is the right
Yeah.
word. That's
Yes,
correct.
yes.
Dedication, determination, punctuality, honesty. Okay, so these are all values. Now, dedication is something which is, or determination also, or perseverance also is right because not only when you are preparing for this exam, even after you get selected, also you have to be perseverant in your career as a civil servant. For so there is something which is called as end term value or means oriented value or end oriented values. Now what do I mean when I say means oriented values and end oriented values or end goal values, mean oriented values? Anybody understand what I just said? End oriented values, and what is the meaning of means oriented values? See, one
No,
thing,
sir.
yes,
Could
Amit.
you explain? Can you explain?
See, now, supposing if I'm making now, if my end goal is power, I'm just giving an example. Okay. Supposing if I want to become a civil servant, and in my head, the end goal is power. That means I want to achieve power. Now, I can achieve power by any means. Okay, so end value of mine is to achieve power. That means I want to become powerful. Now, to become powerful, I can use, uh, civil service as one of the means to become powerful, or I can use politics as a mean to become powerful. Okay, or I can use something else as a means, or I can use money as a means to become powerful, because my end value is power. That means at the end of the day, I'm looking at power. But now, supposing if my goal is to develop the society, now that power will become the means to develop the society. Did you all follow what I'm saying? So it depends on what values I hold. Shraddha, you follow?
Yes, sir.
The other students, have you all followed what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes, sir.
So basically, we have a choice. We have a choice. That means we can use values. That means I can use a particular value, and it depends. Means, that is called means oriented values and end oriented. So that means, what is my end oriented value? So I have to know very clearly what is my end oriented value. That means, now supposing if I want to make money, supposing if I am for me, apart from money, being rich is the most important value. So then what am I going to do? Now think for example, think of a situation where you think that the end value is to become rich.
Sir, you will try to acquire money by any way possible, by
But now
illegal
the
as well
means
as legal.
can be, yes, correct. So the mean values can be either by good way, that means by a good habit, that means by cultivating a good habit, or by even a bad habit, by doing corruption.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes or no?
Correct.
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 So
Correct.
that's what I want to say, that there are, so finally, it depends on what is the most important value, what we give importance to. So accordingly, our minds are driven. Now, why do you all want to become civil servants?
Sir, actually, if we talk about this topic, majority, as I have noticed, majority of the people, uh, when they are asked in the interview that why you have to become a civil servant, they mostly talk about that they want to become a civil servant for the welfare of the people. But in ground reality, when they actually become the civil servant, they misuse their power most of the times. So
That is
in
right. So why? That's why I'm
today's,
asking you. That's the exact question. That is the reason why I'm saying this paper is going to test you. What is your real value? Why you are actually pursuing something? I mean, many times we don't know why we are pursuing something. Samyak, what have you done? What is your basic
uh,
qualification?
sir, actually I've just completed my graduation in arts, and I'm now preparing for civil services. And next
Okay,
year
in
I have
arts,
to give in
arts in,
history, sir.
in history. Okay,
In
so you're
history, yeah.
okay. So, what is the thing in history that has given you this thing to pursue civil services? I mean, why have you taken history in the first place? Forget about this in the civil services. Why did you graduate in history?
Sir, actually, because it's a very fun subject to learn, and due to history, I've learned about many rulers who have done good as well as bad for the entire country. And there are a lot of the rulers who have lived in the past that have adopted some rigorous policies in regards of the people. For example, you can say Aurangzeb. He was a very intolerant ruler. He didn't care about other persons' religion, I mean, and he enforced his religion on the people. And in the contrary, if we talk about Akbar, he was a very liberal person.
No, I see.
So,
My question to you now, what has happened? I'm asking you a
uh,
question in this manner. The question is this way: why did you study history?
oh,
What
sir,
do you? What
because
is the reason? Why have you pursued history for graduation?
I wanted to learn about history, and at that time there was no if I say honestly, uh I I just took it because it was fun.
That's
And
exactly.
there
That's exactly my
the
question. That's so. That is what I'm coming to the point. That you took it
yeah
because probably you did not have another choice.
yeah, and it was like I could
Now
read
see,
also it properly. And
just
yes,
now what happened before this, you said it is a fun subject. It is this. It is that.
yeah, yeah,
This is not the true thing which you said.
yeah, exactly.
You understood. So this is
Yeah,
what this is this
yes.
exactly. So now you have understood that that means whatever you have pursued, I mean it is not, I mean you are not able to give a proper valid reason. So same way, when we are pursuing civil services, there is something that we value. Now nobody is going to pursue something. I mean, yes, there are some people who enjoy doing what they do and they pursue a particular subject, a particular field or a discipline because of the love that they have for that. There is a passion for that. That we can say certain people are passionate. Like there are certain people who are passionate about conducting research or experiments. So they love to, they enter into scientific fields. I mean, they have a mind which is, so you have to be able to give a perfect, I mean, a reason that why you have done something, or else it becomes a kind of a, you know, it becomes a kind of something where we don't know what we are doing, and when we don't know what we are doing we don't give value. But when we learn to give value, I have come across so many students, and to great surprise, in so many years of teaching I have seen so many students who have prepared, I mean they have done their graduations in various subjects across the streams, and then when the point comes to ask them why they have done, none of them are able to give a very satisfactory answer.
Correct, sir, correct.
And you know what is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? When you are not able to give a satisfactory answer, when you don't know why you are doing something, what does it mean?
You just took it in the flow, or your parents told you just take it, something like that.
Yes. Anybody else? So I think there is a dialogue only between me and Samya. Aditya?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hello.
Yeah, I heard you.
So what was the question?
I said why you did what you have done.
So it is, so in psychology, so I have done my Masters of Arts in Psychology. And here we have a concept of wounded healer, let's say. So this is a sort of uh, uh, if we take it in a negative way, then it can become savior complex. But once we have understood our own motivation to do it, then we become wounded healers. So my aim was that because I want to be remembered in a way that I have helped other people make better their lives, and in the process, I have bettered my own life. But then only this life is important. Like I want to be remembered even after this life is over. And the only way that it can be done is by working to create an impact on the world, which will the impact will keep on rolling even after your death.
Okay, Aditya. So I think last time it was you only who asked me the question, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anybody else? So now let us understand one thing. That means Many times what we are doing, we don't understand. Okay. And now that is why a problem arises. That means now, supposing if you are not able to justify the thing that you have pursued at your graduation level, or if you say that, okay, I have done this because of maybe there was no other option or there was no other choice, then even that can be attributed to the civil services. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes, sir. Yes.
सिद्धी काही समजतं का मी काय बोलतोय?
हो सर.
तू मागच्या लेक्चर मध्ये बसली होती ना? You sat down before, right?
Yes, sir. But earlier lecture I was not attended.
No, not these lectures. Before also you have attended, right? In the
Yes.
ethics, ethics has been done with you, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope you all understood what is values, what are ethics, what are morals.
Yes, sir.
Any doubt about it? Now, who said yes just now?
No, sir. Actually, I said yes for the concept.
You have attempted, you were there physically in the lecture last time?
Yes, sir.
Who all were physically there? Please, you lift up your hands because I need to see who all were there physically. Physically, who was sitting in the class? Sakshi and who? Pratik. Okay. And who else was there? Anybody else who was present physically in the class? Only two of you? Pratik?
No, sir, there are many.
So you were also there, right? You are the hotel management guy, right?
Yes, sir.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, your voice is very soft, can't be heard. Mohit, okay. Okay, I can't remember Mohit. Okay. Anyway, now today what I'm going to do, I hope all of you have understood what is ethics, what are values, what are morals. It's clear. Now see, I would like your cooperation because this paper is a very practical paper. So I'm going to give you all some things wherein, you have to apply it to your life. Okay. Unless you apply this paper to your day-to-day living, unless you start thinking, only then it will become a very practical paper. Okay. So we are going to look into the strategy. First I will discuss with you some other things, other concepts with regard to ethics, and then we are going to go into the strategy of this paper. Okay. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes. Okay.
Yes.
So I think we have already seen the syllabus. All of you know we are on the first point of the syllabus: essence, determinants, consequence of ethics. Okay, dimensions of ethics. Now I'm going to move to what is ethics. So what ethics is about, we have already seen. Ethics comes from what does it help you to do? I had asked you all to do some things. Yes or no? I had asked you all to see what ethics does. So satisfy basic needs. It creates credibility. It improves decision making and self-realization. That means why what I am doing. Okay. Are you all following?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So etymologically, the term ethics correspond to the Greek word ethos, which means character, habit, customs, way of behavior. Hence, ethics defined a systematic study of human actions from the point of view of their rightfulness or wrongfulness. Okay. A set of principles which guide us what to do and what not to do, which is acceptable to society. Now, at the same time, when we define ethics this way, so what it is not, that means this is a standard acceptable definition of ethics. But what ethics is not? So ethics is not morality. It is not religion. It may appear synonymous. That means it may appear that, okay, they may look, ethics may seem similar to morals, or it may look ethics is law, but no, they are not one and the same. Okay, though they draw from these principles, but they are not the same. So ethics is not morality, not religion, not following the law, is not following culturally accepted norms, is not likes and dislikes, and is not beliefs. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mohit,
Yes,
you have
sir.
some questions? Yeah, you have something to ask?
No, sir.
Okay, you lifted up your hand, so I thought you have something to ask me. Okay, so now how will you define ethics and morality? So we know that ethics is not morality. Then what is morality? Yes, Sakshi.
So maybe morals refers to the value idea of an individual.
Okay, Samya.
Sir, morals, it's like habits with respect to right or wrong conduct. I mean, uh, means it depends on individual.
Yes, okay. Aditya.
So it's something that makes us feel good after we have done. So it is more about the feeling good part of it.
Okay. Now, morals are basically good customs, good behavior, okay, which is a set which is within the individual. As I already defined to you all, it is inside of the individual. It comes from internally. It can apply even to the society, okay, at large, but more or less it is from within the individual. Now, okay, so let us see the essence of ethics. Essence is the intrinsic quality. That means what is the intrinsic quality of ethics? Okay, something that determines what is the character of ethics. So how do we understand? Ethics originate from the sense of justice prevailing in a particular society. That means what kind of a system justice is present in that society. Based on that, we have ethics originates from that. Okay, then it operates at a different levels like individual, organization, socio-cultural, political, international. Ethics at each level affects each other. Ethics are interrelated. So honesty, truthfulness, integrity, values of equality, justice, they cannot exist without tolerance. So all these, that means each of the ethical values or ethics are basically interrelated to one another. Okay. Then ethical behavior leads to various benefits for an individual as well as society at large. It leads to peace, harmony, respect, and justice. Ethics preach a certain kind of behavior to us. It tells us how should people behave. They are abstract and subjective in nature. They are affected by individuals' emotions and perceptions. Are you all understanding what we are discussing?
Yes, sir.
Hmm?
So
Yes, sir.
Anybody any doubt or not understood still? Hello. Do you all have any doubt? Not understood something?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, ethics are determined in a social setting at a given point of time. Okay. Now, as I told you, what is the need for ethics? What is the need for ethics? That means, why do we need ethics? We need ethics basically to regulate our choices, social relationships. Okay, so basic components. That means essence of ethics are governed by three important things. That means the choices that we have, preferences, the actions that we take, okay, and behavior. Is it clear? The choices that we make, the actions that we take physically, and the behavior.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear to all of you?
Yes, sir. Correct.
So basically, what choice? That means there are preferences before us to decide what we want. Okay. Such choice will reflect our action. So, first of all, we will make a choice towards a particular thing. Then we will act according to that choice. And then finally, the way we act or conduct ourselves is the behavior. That is the external manifestation. Internally, we make a choice. Then externally, physically, we act upon that choice. And the behavior is nothing but the manifestation of the action. Am I clear or not clear still?
Yes, sir. Yes. Very clear.
Siddhi?
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
It's yes.
Yeah. Rimple, you understood? Okay. So now, need of ethics. What is the need of ethics? First of all, to regulate social relationships. Second, ethical values help in growth and development overall, self satisfaction, happy and meaningful life, making a good citizen, man as social animal by nature, selfish and exploit others for his own benefit. Therefore, to achieve greater good, ethics are required. Do you all agree with this? Hello. Do you
Yes,
all
sir.
agree? Yeah. Okay, now what I want you all to do is to give me an example in each of those areas. How does ethics help to regulate social relationships?
Sir, I might be wrong, but if we talk about in that context, it actually depends on a individual's emotional intelligence. If he, I mean, if he is engaging in a conversation with a person, and if he's talking with that person, and if he says something which is bound to make the individual which is talking to awkward, and if he doesn't understand that, then there might be some incidences where he is bound to make not so good social relations, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yes. That's okay. That's right. Aditya,
So can you repeat the question?
give the example of each of the need of ethics.
Need of ethics.
That means to regulate social relationships. Example DJ. Yes, Sakshi.
So, ethics is very important in building a relationship. So we can say that the decision, we make and our action we take are dependent on our, like our thinking. Basically, it includes that there should be no emotional harm, as well as physical harm. And whereas we can see that in work professional, there should be a team spirit, and that only that is provided by ethics. If you know ethics, you might know what is teamwork and how would you work with all your teammates.
Okay. Now let us see the consequences of ethics. That means ethics has consequences at the individual level as well as at the social level. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So at individual level, it will bring happiness. It will bring positive outlook towards society, elevated sense of being, credibility, accomplishment, acceptability and likability, interpersonal relations, and decision making. So when we are ethical, automatically it is going to change our outlook. It is going to change our attitude, our perspective, how we look at things, how we are able to adapt to those things. Same way, the consequences for society, obviously at individual level it is at a minor level. At the society level it will become at a broader perspective. Okay, so there will be peace and harmony, good governance, justice, inclusion, equitable inclusive development, future generations, and also for the environment and a healthy society, and there will be faith and trust among the people of the communities. Are you all following what I'm saying now?
Sir, if we talk about by that logic in the broader terms of society, so
Hmm.
sir, can we say that what happened in Manipur recently is the collapse of ethics?
Yes, it
on
is
a
the
societal
collapse
level.
of ethics at the societal level.
Okay, so I am partially correct in accordance with your question.
Yes,
Okay, okay, okay.
that is because there is a deep mistrust among the society members.
Correct, correct.
So, but is it right to judge a situation like Manipur with a situation like, let's say, somewhere in the mainland, in the sense that in Manipur it is almost a pseudo warfare situation between two tribes, and in the mainland, it's not a thing, right? Like something like that. So, is it like fair to judge both the situations from the same code of ethics?
It is because in Manipur, it is basically, we know that Manipur is basically a tribal society. So obviously, based on that logic, it is the right thing to judge on that basis.
I mean, they could have a different set of ethics which need not align with what we are thinking. So,
Yeah,
like
so absolutely correct.
for a tribe like Nagas or maybe
Yeah, yeah,
some other tribe. So for them, the the existence of the tribe is the most important, because the individual who is living in the tribe, his entire being is based on being a member of that tribe. So
yes,
from that point of view, like he has to fight or otherwise he'll be like destroyed. It's like the might is right type of
yes,
situation.
correct. So that's why the ethic at the society level is, so that's the exact point of the distrust between the society. That's what exactly.
Sir, but I think peace and harmony should be the foundation of the ethics, right? So how can it be
So that's what like
not?
we need to like they will have to come together and agree upon one singular code of ethics instead of this tribals fighting with each other
Yeah,
and like
correct,
trying to
correct,
kill.
correct, correct.
And now see, this is a very complicated history. I mean, it may seem very simple to us, okay, because we are watching as observers and as external participants. Now, if you look at the history, I mean, it is not so simple. So we need to go back and understand the tribal history. So because if we put ourselves in their shoes, then probably we might understand the facing of discrimination, the facing of so many kinds of problems. So
I
for
mean,
us,
I mean,
so
of
for
course,
us, it,
of course, like they have been fighting even before Republic of India came into existence. Like these are
yes.
old
So that's
rivalries.
exactly what
So
I'm
how do
saying.
we
So
solve the problem here? Like
see,
these
now
tribal
this is
rivalries have been
now
happening before
see,
the Republic of India came into being.
see
So like
Aditya.
it's
Now
very
this
old.
goes beyond the scope of the topic.
Okay,
Let me tell
okay,
you. See
okay.
now, because I'm not teaching international relations. See, or even the political this thing. So let us understand that here we are trying to talk in terms of ethics. So we try to limit ourselves to the field of what is our scope. That means when we are discussing, we keep ourselves to the scope of the subject. Uh, Now, one big problem which can happen, undoubtedly, the question that has been raised is not. It's a valid question, very valid question, and right. But as I said, when preparing for this exam, one thing which I need to warn all of you is that you need to keep your mind fixated on the issues. Now, see, these tribal things or tribal issues are not something which are new. They are quite old and historical, and they have a very, I mean, deep rooted background. It is not something that can be solved overnight, and which can be this thing. So or we cannot blame anybody. We cannot immediately pass the blame and say due to this or due to that we start so what we need to do is to look back into the now to that's why as I said that distrust ethically, from ethical point of view, it is the distrust in the society. I mean, talking in terms of politics, I mean, then there we have to go back to the tribal, I mean, their cultures. And obviously, because they have been felt left from the mainland, there are lots of reasons for that. I mean, there is not just one single reason. There are so many reasons for the problems which are existing in those, the northeastern states. So it is lack of development, lack of progress. So many kinds of discrimination that they have been facing. So it's not just with Manipur alone. It is with most of the northeastern states, and no doubt now with the northeastern development projects and various other kinds of projects by the government of India, things have been improved and they have been worked upon. But conflicts or this thing resolution, there is no simple, not a very one go solution that like how we talk even about the Naxalite. There is not a very one go simple solution that we go and we start using military force. It's not like that. So we need to understand the background behind that. Anything that happens, there is a particular historical setting, there is a particular geographical conditioning, there is a particular social pressure. So there are various factors which are involved. So as a civil servant, we need to look at it anything not from one angle, or not just so it's not that these things have not been tried out. So we have to be very uh, keep our feet, under put ourselves. That is where empathy comes. So when we put ourselves in their shoes and try to understand, so as an external observer, we might think that it should be this way or it should be that way. But when you actually face the situation, or when you are actually at the ground level, then the situation is reversed. Then we understand really that how difficult and how complicated the things may seem. So the thing basically now you ask, okay, anyway, we come back to our topic where we are. One thing which I would like to tell all of you, specifically when you are preparing for any of the general studies paper, limit yourselves to at the general level. Don't go into aspects which may lead you for research. Now, why I say this is because otherwise you might find it difficult, because what may happen, certain topics may arise where we may think, which may have a deeper this thing, and it may lead us to go probe deeper, but that will not help you while you're answering the paper.
The idea is to be a generalist rather than a
Yes,
specialist.
that's exactly what I'm trying to say, because
Yeah,
otherwise you can get misled, and it may happen to you, because basically this can happen to students who are preparing or who are prepared for post graduation and who are postgraduates. So it can happen that being of preparing from that background may hamper the thing, that it might lead us to think in that direction. But
correct, correct.
in this exam, you need to keep yourself very clear. If you want to crack this exam, then you need to understand, what is your goal. Otherwise, what can happen, like now, supposing a student who has a PhD in physics, in history. So now if you ask him to write a general studies answer, he might write a level at the PhD level, which is not going to give him marks.
Correct.
Are you all following what I'm saying? So keep this in mind. Very, very important.
Yes, sir.
Huh? So you need to keep this very clearly in mind, that when you are answering any question, look at the demand of the question and try to stick to that. Because we must be very careful, because in this exam, because many candidates whom I have seen over the years, sometimes their level of understanding for that particular thing, so it may lead them to go deeper, but we are not called to become research scholars. So please get this thing very clear. Am I clear to all of you?
Because of that, we have to understand the questions where they ask comment or
So
elucidate.
you need to understand exactly what question what I'm
Yeah,
asking,
the demand.
and exactly follow that much. Because if you go beyond that, then it may break the this thing of the question. That means what the question is asking and what am I answering. So I definitely, all of you have to keep this in mind. So maybe it may seem in your optional subject, surely you have to go at a higher level. सपोजिंग आपका हिस्ट्री ऑप्शनल है, तो आपको ऑनर्स लेवल पे, जैसे यूपीएससी ने गाइडलाइन में दिया है, ठीक है ना, तो आपको वैसे फॉलो करना है. मगर जब आप जनरल स्टडीज का आंसर देते हो, तो आपको ये ध्यान में रखना है.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Aditya, you follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
See, because even if we are preparing, we have to understand what we are preparing for and what exactly is our purpose. Otherwise, then we will lose sight of that. So that's why, okay. So anyway, coming back to ethics in India and sources of ethics. So we know that now our historic text, Ashoka's giving up war, spreading dharma. Then Harshvardhan's charity and truthfulness, Ramayana and Mahabharata. So various religious ethics, I mean, from where they have drawn, what are from where the ethics has come. Okay, what all ethics they have drawn from. So obviously from those religious founders, leaders, and all the principles that they have taught. Based on that, we have various kinds of ethics like Gandhian ethics, Ramayana, Mahabharata, Buddhist ethics, then Jain ethics, Sikh ethics, Islamic ethics, the laws and society. So each particular religion has its own kind of laws and systems wherein they impart. Every religion or every teaching basically imparts certain kind of ethical values. So basically, each of that, I mean, all of you, we are all, most of you are aware of each of those things, like Gautam Buddha's teachings or Jain teachings. So you all might have studied even in history. So based on that, those ethical principles are drawn from those teaching of those particular leaders or those founders of those religions, right? Or from the text. So in India, how do we, and obviously conscience and human values are conscience. So you can see now that figure is showing to you that from the historic text from Ramayana and Mahabharata, Gandhian ethics, then constitutional values, Buddhist ethics, Jain ethics, Sikh ethics, and Islamic ethics. Now, what are the determinants of ethics? That means how do we determine ethics? How is it ethics determined? So there are various factors which determine ethics, like the person, the place, the time, object, circumstance, end purpose, culture, role models, constitution, religion, conscience and intuition, family. Each of these determine ethics. Okay. So now person depends on mental makeup of an individual. It depends upon how the person has internalized personal attitudes and values regarding ethical behavior. Now, can you give me an example of a person? See, now in this exam, what is expected is that each of these points which I have just mentioned, you should be able to draw an example. Second thing, you should be able to put yourself in that place and look at yourself as, okay, am I an ethical person? Did you all follow what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Only then will you have understood this paper. If you are not able to personalize it, if you are not able to put yourself in that place, then the understanding of this paper has not come. Ethics is a very practical paper.
Sir, in case of a famous personality, I would like to state Baba Sahib Ambedkar.
Okay.
Yeah, because once a person asked him that why do you think that people give you so much respect in the society? So he was of the opinion that it is not because of my degrees or my achievements. It is because of my character and how I behave towards the society. That was his response. So I would like to state that he was very ethical.
Yes, that's a good example. Good. Anybody else? See, this is what I mean, that when a question is asked, now we follow the demand of the question and accordingly we answer. Then we know exactly where we are steering forward.
Yeah, correct.
Aditya?
The examples of these historical ethic, Ramayana and Mahabharata.
No, person.
I cannot think of anyone else.
So can
Okay.
we say uh, Gandhi? Can we?
Yes.
Yeah, even
Arya?
Gandhi is one such
Yeah.
example.
Pratik, Mohit, Sakshi,
Yes, sir.
give me an example. आप लोगों को एथिक्स नहीं समझ रहे लगते हैं. हेलो.
Sir,
Hmm.
is the example is expected as a personality or depends on the situation?
See, first now we are talking about a person. So first you give example of a person, then a place.
No, sir. Means I want to ask like if like famous personalities like Samyak have mentioned, is that is acceptable or the situation where like a specially able person receive
Not
more?
necessary only to a famous personality. See, there are already a category of famous personalities below. Now, supposing if you have visited some place and you have seen some person, say even a peon or a person who's sweeping the road, okay. Now, even that, don't you think that person can be ethical?
Yes, sir.
So even that can become as an example. Are you following what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
For
So
example,
not necessary. Yeah.
sir, for example, a good teacher, an ethical teacher can create many ethical students.
Yes, that is a good example. Or even in the office or in the workplaces. So, wherever we are and whatever we see, accordingly, now, even with regard, say, in the family also, okay, ethical behavior of the parents can lead to ethical behavior of the children. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I mean, this
Very
is
true.
what I mean to tell you all that you all have to get understand ethics practically. You have to start thinking. Matlab na, don't make it as a subject wherein you are learning it by rote. Rather, you put yourself into that and try to understand and make yourself fit yourself into those shoes. Then you will be able to draw out examples. That's what is going to help you to study this paper. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Good. Place. Now, place it refers to external environment which includes family, school. For example, as kids, we were told by our parents, teacher to not to steal things. As we grow up, we tend to carry such knowledge and apply to real world. Similarly, workplace teaches ethics of teamwork, punctuality, responsibility. So, can you think of place now?
The
So may I?
place as in which place is ethical like that?
See, certain places now. Now, supposing I'll give you an example. Now, you go and visit, say, the collector's office. Okay. And whatever you want, supposing you have gone there for some kind of a record to find out, and you find that the job is done immediately without you having to waste your time. I mean, all the resources are provided to you, whatever you have asked, or you go and visit a PIO, a personal information officer, and you ask him certain
Yeah.
details and those things are provided. So what does it mean?
It means that uh,
Obviously that place has shown you that it is ethical. The people there are working ethically, yes or no?
yeah, it's very efficient in the
Hmm.
matter of administration.
So have you found out certain places like that?
Sir, as for my understanding, most of the times when we visit such offices, there is a lot, there is more time required actually. So, in my experience, I have not yet encountered.
So may I?
Yes, Aditya.
So in my experience, RTOs have become more efficient these days. Like
Who has become more efficient? Sorry, pardon me.
RTOs. The
RTOs.
RTO
RTO.
offices.
Okay, RTO. Sorry,
RTOs.
pardon. I have.
Back in the day when my father was taking like issuing his own, getting his own driver license issued, it used to be a bit hassle. Like as far as I can remember, it used to be a very tedious process, and it wasn't like very transparent. But now it has become like very transparent.
So that's a good example. See,
Yes,
that is
sir.
what I meant by ethical. So now you understood. So see, Sakshi, yes, Sakshi, please give an example. Yes, Sakshi.
Sir, actually, mine was simple. That we could see this ethics like in every workplace, because there's a kind of teamwork, so that is also a quality of ethics, right?
But then to Sakshi, giving a specific example. Now, when you say this, it becomes generalized. You're getting my point, Sakshi.
Yes, sir.
Generalized means, I mean to say, then you say workplace. Now, workplace means which workplace? So, other than we will have no comparison, na? We'll not be able to say, okay, which workplace. Yes, Aditya.
Okay.
So this like it's the same RTO that my father had gone to, and recently one of my cousins had gone for his license. So like back in the day, the technology used was not like it was almost non-existent. But now the entire process has become like based on technology. So there is no place for malpractices. So I think that is one major role play. I mean that's one major factor which has affected in the increased efficiency and more ethical behavior.
Very good. So this is what I'm trying to tell you. See, now when you personalize it, when you start thinking, then you understand that actually, yes, there are ethical places, there are ethical people. So we cannot just say, okay, no doubt there are unethical practices, there are unethical behavior also. But more than looking at also the negative, we also need to find good positive ways. So this is what, if you start personalizing, that's what I just meant. When you start thinking of it, putting yourself in that place, you will understand ethics much faster. That means you will question yourself whether really are you ethical. That is the question. The whole purpose and the design of this paper by the UPSC is to see how much ethical are you. That because going to be as a civil servant, future civil servant, what is going to be your attitude? That is why they are trying to test you and so show you that what it needs, what is the need to become ethical. Am I clear?
Sir, I can name unethical places. For example,
See,
the
Samyak, now that's exactly my point. Everybody can name unethical places, but now beyond that, having a positive mind. Now, see,
yeah,
so
yeah,
you have portrayed that okay, there are only unethical, but that is not the. It's only one side, right, Samyak?
yeah, correct, correct,
Because then that
correct,
gives a negative attitude towards. That means everything is unethical. See, if everything is
correct,
unethical, I
correct,
don't think
correct,
the system is going to function.
correct.
We need to understand one thing. If everything becomes unethical, the system is definitely going to collapse. No system, no system. Like now, I'll give you an example. Even in our body, now when we talk about multi-organ failure, आप लोग ने सुना है multi-organ failure?
Yes, sir.
When the patient is about to die in the last stages, he enters into a stage what is called multi-organ failure. That means multiple organs have failed. Now, only when this stage reaches, then only the person dies. Okay, then he collapses. Okay, but prior to that, there are some organs which are always functional and they are trying to do extra work. There's extra load on them. So we cannot say that all the organs are failed. So till that stage, doctors continue to try to see that, okay, whichever organs are functional, they try to restore and to elongate or, increase the capacity of that. So similarly, like this is the human body system. Now, if you take it in terms of social system or any kind of organization or any kind of system, even those systems are functional till all those organs, all those individual organs are somewhere or the other. Only when all the organs fail, then only that will be a collapse of that system. That's how regimes fall. I mean, that's how there is a collapse of the state or of the society. Okay, where we see that there is a complete collapse of the system and the society. So that does not happen until the entire system collapses. But if still there are some people who are ethical, something, that is the reason, that's why the whole thing is still functioning.
Correct.
If everybody becomes unethical, I mean, then there is going to be widespread chaos, widespread corruption, and there will be only, it is not going to be, it will no longer be a human society, it will be a barbarian society, or it will be a kind of a society where there is only law of the jungle.
I agree, sir. Yes.
Hmm?
Yes,
So
yes.
I hope
Correct.
all of you are getting what I'm saying. So definitely ethics is there. So don't look only at the negative. There are negatives undoubtedly, but as a civil servant, as an aspirant going to be a civil servant, you need to understand to be able to identify even among those that what is there. So as Aditya gave the example, as Sakshi gave the example, so they were good examples. So that is what exactly which we need to understand. Even Samyak gave the example first. So all those examples are very critical for us to look into the ethical practices. So now I hope you all have understood that how to ascribe ethics to these things. Yes or no, all of you?
Yes, sir.
हम्म? आप लोग को अभी सब समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ कि आपको कैसे इस पेपर को इंटरनलाइज करना है. जब आप उसको पर्सनली सोचोगे, दैट मीन्स व्हेन यू स्टार्ट थिंकिंग एट अ पर्सनल लेवल, am I doing this thing right? Not just because. Now, why am I doing this thing right? Is it because society is saying it is right, or is it do I believe it is right? That is the question. Okay, that means where does this right and wrongness come from? Does it come from my personal values? Does it come from my personal belief? Does it come from the society? That's exactly the question. Are you all following what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Hmm? Yeah. Now let us move forward. So now let us take a differentiation between ethics, values, and morals. So, ethics are standards of human conduct that society adopts for itself. Ethics are sets of do's and don'ts that give human conduct in a social setting. Values can be defined as qualities that are instrumental to us. That means what we give important. Values are benchmark standards on which the desirability of an action can be measured. Values act as an internal compass which help a person evaluate different choices of conduct and behavior. Example: honesty, integrity, empathy, courage, dedication, compassion. Morals are principles of right and wrong held by an individual. Unlike ethics, morals are standards of behavior pertaining to an individual and not social conduct. Morals arise from personal experience, character, conscience, and so on. For instance, homosexuality might be moral from individual's perspective, but it might be unethical in society's point of view. Now, how many of you have a point of view on this point?
Sir, I'm actually neutral on this point. I think
There is
it
nothing.
depends on an
Yeah.
I think it
Yes,
depends on
Sabir.
an individual only. If he wants to, I mean, if he is in favor of homosexuality, then it's up to him, and if he's not, then that's also up to him.
Okay. Aditya.
So I think the concept of consent is very important over here. So if we once start considering consent, and then after that, who is able to give consent? So from that point of view, there's nothing wrong with homosexuality, as long as the consent aspect is involved.
But then now that is one aspect of that, right?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Now, one thing again, let me tell all of you. As a civil servant, we have to have panoramic viewpoint.
Sir, as a personified example, I would like to give an example of Russia and United States. Russia is the country which has banned homosexuality,
Okay.
and
Yes.
on the other hand, in US, United States, there are protests regarding their rights and that they are people as well, etc., etc. So that is entertained in United States, but on the other hand, in Russia, it is not entertained.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm not sure that whether we are supposed to take ex-communist and now fascist states as like examples of how we are supposed to run our country. Like back in the time of communism, homosexuality was not banned. and so on.
Okay. Sakshi?
So I have no comments on that.
In the exam, you cannot write no comments at that. Sakshi?
Yeah, yes, sir.
I mean, people are playing safe on such issues.
Kunal?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, give the answer.
So may I?
Yes, Smriti.
So I think on homosexuality, it is completely the decision of the person, and the others might not, at least they should not constrain, or they should not force their own ethics or values on the others, which would not, means, if they have no business, or they are not related, so they should not interfere in others' personal matters.
Yes, but now, Smriti, when we are staying in a society, don't you think that it is not just only about a personal choice?
So
Or
I
another
think
example I'd give that in
नहीं,
my
नहीं,
college
एक
only.
जन टाइम में बोलो, सब लोग साथ में मत बोलो. एक जन
Yeah,
साथ में
okay,
बोलो.
okay. I'm sorry.
so,
Yes,
so
Smriti.
I think staying in a society, we have seen that there are many people who are homosexuals. They afraid of society, but it suppress their right of living, their right of freedom. So we
Okay.
should not do that. So in society, living in society, if people are afraid about what our children think, what are other people think, so they should become strong, or they should teach their children that what is right and what is wrong, instead of suppressing what others want to do by their own.
Yes, Satya.
Like if you are going to see from the point of view of society, it may not always be a very valid point of view, because once upon a time, not so long ago, untouchability was the ethical thing to do. Hindus, Muslims, and even Christians, they used to practice untouchability on their fellow human beings. And if an untouchable human being, so called, is going to sit on, let's say, horse cart, then the horse cart person, he is not going to get business. So we are coming from such a background. So when we come from such a background, we have to give in favor of the individual and not in the favor of society.
Okay. See, now this may not be very, because see, we are not a small country. Okay. And ideally speaking, I mean, this is, we are talking only from now, you have to think as a civil servant. Here, what you all are thinking is not as a civil servant. Okay. Let me correct your understanding very clearly. If you want to become a civil servant, your perspective and your thought process should not be from just an individual perspective. So let me get this very clear, because what I understand is that right now, uh, your opinion, I mean, your people's opinion is coloring the situation. Are you all following what I'm saying?
Sir, personally, I think that it's better to leave it to an individual only. And for
See,
example, I
it
may
is not
state,
about Samyak, my dear Samyak. It is not about what we think. See, let me get it correct. That's what, as I said, now, as us going to be a civil servant, you are not supposed to think only as an individual. The state is not, it is comprised not of a single individual. So we need to understand that when you are now, because now you are not yet a civil servant, so you may think in that perspective as an individual rights and liberty. But when you are seated on the chair, it is not just about a single individual, Samya.
yes,
Hmm? So
Correct.
I hope all of you understand that you all are going to be civil servant, because if you have, you all are giving your opinion and viewpoints, but I think this is from a very a basis of not very concrete understanding.
Yeah.
Means what I mean to say is that with limited knowledge, with limited background, with limited understanding, when you are presenting a perspective, then it can create a problem. And as a civil servant, these things you have to remember.
Yeah.
That's what I just mentioned. I said you have to have what you call as just a moment. What we call as a 360-degree view. Okay.
Okay.
All of you, have you got it? What I'm saying?
It's a very
I'm not
sensitive
sure
topic,
whether
sir.
I understand this thing, like at least this example. Like when we are talking about homosexuality or something which is not heteronormative or like whatever they call it now, this is like being talk about people. Like it is not something there in the society. No one is forcing anyone to do anything. And that's why I said the consent and who is able to consent. So let's say if we are talking about minors, then it's out of question because they are not able to consent. So that's why I was very clear that we have to only take in account the people who are able to consent, which is adults. So when there are two adults who are trying to explore that, so how do we like how does it make sense like we intervene over there?
Now, that's exactly my point, as I said. Now, India is first, we need to understand the background of our country. Okay. It is not just only about just individual. India is a mix of what? Of cultures, of religions, of beliefs. So when the law is passed, it is not just passed based on individual. Not just because individuals feel something, so the law is made. Law is never prepared like that. Am I right or wrong?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Is the
Yes, yes,
constitution,
yes.
if the
Yeah.
constitution is based just two individuals, do you think it will give a guarantee to everybody? So you need to understand it is not about 1% or 2% or what people feel, because people can be polarized and can start thinking in different. So every person can have his own viewpoint. This is not about a personal viewpoint or what we think. It is about at the large level. That means it is not just one factor which is making up. Just because individuals think that way, it doesn't make it right.
That's true.
See, right now, what I understand is all of you are, uh, I would say to all of you to read the basics, okay? Because what I'm finding is that, because of, since you all are coming from varied backgrounds, and since you all have your own mindset and own viewpoint, you have to groove yourself into the civil service viewpoint. You have to look at all sides of the aspects. Are you all following what I'm saying? Otherwise, it will be very difficult to become a civil servant.
Yes.
आप लोग आप लोग सिविल सर्वेंट फिर बनना बहुत मुश्किल हो जाएगा. आप लोगों को समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? See,
Yes, sir.
now because in the society, you all look at various things and you start discussing and debating. Civil service is not like that. Let me tell you the golden rule of the civil service. If you want to become a civil servant, the golden rule is follow the middle path. The middle path is constitutional values. We have to give at the positive and negative, and bureaucrat is supposed to be, he follows non-partisanship, neutrality. You will study the foundational values of what it means to be a civil servant. Because it is not about, we have to look at both the sides of the viewpoint and take into consideration. So as I said, it is not just about individuals. India is not just made only of individuals. India is a group of cultures, of religions, of beliefs, of systems. So it is not about just what individuals think. So based on that also, unless that we have a uniform where we have, okay, all individuals, and then that is where we have a uniform law. अभी आप समझ रहे हैं मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Aditya, you are understanding?
I'm not sure I'm on board with that. Because aren't the societies themselves built up with individuals? So
Even
let's
if the
say,
society is built up of individuals, Aditya, but the society also has certain norms and rules. Now, particular societies do not allow particular things. And, that's how the law is based also. Yes, Shraddha?
So, but the laws can be changed some points.
Yes,
That-
I
Because
know
if
the
we even
law.
if we go,
See, now I'll give you an example. Now look at that sati practice. Now, individually, you may think whatever, but the society had approved sati. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
yes,
Am I right or wrong?
Yes.
So whatever individually I may think sati is wrong, sati is this, sati is that. But who approved it?
Society.
So was it possible to now, because the British introduced the law and changed it, due to the efforts of Raja Ram Mohan Roy and the other social reformers, then only it became a law. Yes or no?
Yes, correct.
So it is not about individual. The individual may think. So it is. We have not to think only in terms of individual. We are not just thinking individual means then that is called where we are talking only in terms of liberty. That means whatever I feel is right, that is not how the country works. If everybody starts thinking whatever they feel like doing, then there will be no country left. The law is meant to guide. That is the reason why the law. So it may not be ethical. See, that's where the question is. That's why ethics is not law. You're understanding? There is a difference. So sometimes the law may be repressive. Like now with regard to abortion also. So where in certain countries where abortion may not be allowed, not be permitted. That is the debate between ethics and law. Are you all following what I'm saying? It may not be ethical, but if the law is saying no, then it will not allow.
So, sir, by this logic, if we talk about, then recently only, sir, our Chief Justice of India has declared that homosexuality is not a crime. But in addition to
Listen to
that, the
me.
people.
Now, he declaring and passing it into a law are two different things. Please get this correct.
Yes, yes.
Making a statement is one thing. Okay. See, if
Yes.
you make a statement, does not mean that has become a law.
Yeah,
For it to
that.
become a law, it needs to be approved by the parliament. Are you understanding what I'm saying? It
Yes,
needs to be
yes.
changed so not just by saying, he may say anything. He may say in the statement, but that does not necessarily become into a law.
Yeah.
So you all need to understand this thing because you have to understand how the system is. So it is not based on how we think. We may think, I know what you all are thinking is various on a right. It's not that you're thinking something wrong, but you need to understand as a student preparing for this exam, what is your mindset, what perspective you're supposed to have. Anyway, coming to now where we were. So anyway, did you all get the difference between ethics, values, and morals? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is that clear? Forget about that topic now. You all don't get worried about that. Okay. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Aditya, is it clear?
yes, so the concepts are clear, but I'm not sure I'm on board with what you said. Like I'm clear with the concepts.
No, no. See, let me tell you again, as I said, with what I said and what going to be a civil servant, as I said, it is going to be a problem. I remember one student some years back, we were discussing on, he was my personal student. So when he came to me, so he said to me, so the topic was about with regard to I mean, there was some skirmishes and some war-related issues with regard to Pakistan. So his viewpoint was that we should go and bomb Pakistan. Do you think that is something logical?
No, sir.
If he is training for civil service, then it is not. But if, let's say, he's
So
training
that's
for the Indian
exactly my
Army,
point. What I'm saying. That's exactly what my point is. When you are studying for civil, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. If you are preparing for this exam, that's what you need to understand. If you all don't change the approach, then the civil service UPSC will not allow you to get selected.
Sir, whether we are
Did you
preparing for
understand what
civil
I'm
service
saying?
or not, it's not. We cannot just bomb a country like that.
So that is called a radical mindset. Now, why he has this mindset? Now, let me tell you. Now, he has this mindset because he discusses with a group of friends who have similar kind of mindset.
Correct.
And then let me tell you, this candidate has been preparing for so many years, but never made it in the civil service. You are following what I'm saying?
Yes, I get the
Huh?
essence.
So, what I'm trying to tell you, I'll understand very clearly. If you are preparing for this exam, you need to understand. Otherwise, you have to do something else then. आप लोग समझ रहे हैं?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we are understanding.
So you need to understand. Then I had another student, another friend of mine, not student. Now he scored exceptionally good, So, but certain things, his ideas also were very radical. So, what is our mindset? UPSC tries to judge your mindset. And how do they come to know your mindset? They come to know your mindset through the ethics paper and through the essay paper. Based on that, they know whether you are suited or not suited for the service. Because if we have a kind of a negative or a kind of a radical mindset, then such candidates are not suited for the services. Because reason being, because they cannot be molded. Are you all following what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Now, if I have an attitude which is not allowing me to mold myself, now UPSC requires candidates who are going to mold themselves based on the constitutional values or what is given, keeping aside the personal preferences. Personally, our preferences may be and our personal preferences. So that is where the ethical dilemma occurs. That's exactly what happens. That is what is called ethical dilemma. That means where I'm having a personal conflict with the things that I'm supposed to implement. अभी आप लोग को समझ में आ रहा है क्या मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
Yes, sir.
Umang, you followed?
Yes, sir.
So this kind of a thing, you need to understand that when you are preparing for this kind of an exam, unless you mold yourself into what is required, it will be, and that will come out when you all answer. When you give answers and when you write your answers, it is very clearly reflected who you are. So even before you sit before the examiner, or even before the examiner who knows who you are, your words tell who you are. That's how many students don't get selected. आप लोग को समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ?
Yes, sir.
Siddhi, I'm right or wrong?
Yes, sir. Right, sir.
Aditya, you understood something what I'm saying?
yes, sir, I understood the concepts, but I'm not on board with what you said with those examples. Like your concepts are clear, but I'm not on board with what the content of the example.
Okay.
Sir, upholding constitutional morality, upholding fundamental rights is constitutional morality. But bombing Pakistan is an act of war. So I'm not sure how we are like having those two examples. Maybe it's just the beginning, so we shouldn't like get to it as yet. But those are like very different examples, like way out of the league.
Aha. So what I meant to say is that our values are this thing. Normally, we have to align ourselves. What you said is correct, and that's exactly what I'm trying to say is that when you are preparing for an exam like this, you need to examine and see very clearly where exactly we are going. I mean, what values, what are the things that we are holding. So anyway, let us continue. Belief. Our belief is most common term used to explain in the behavioral component of a person. It is an internal feeling that something is true, even though that belief may be unproven and irrational. Siddhi, give an example.
So now only we have seen the different opinions of our students. So that can be the good example. They are personally not. They are personally
You are
not.
very intelligent.
So that can be the right example in this situation. You can understand, sir.
Okay, good, good. Okay. So anyway, so I hope all of you understood what belief means. Siddhi has given a very good and she has explained to us what belief is, right? Samyak, you understood?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Mhm. Okay. Now, okay, anyway, where we were now. Okay. So, essence of ethics. So, beliefs basically, like example, my belief is that God plays important role in success and achievements in life. Gandhiji believed that Swaraj can be attained within 1 year of launching. Non-cooperation movement belief can be peripheral. That means they can be weak beliefs and they can be core beliefs, strong beliefs. Okay, beliefs which are formed by direct interaction are generally strong, and beliefs also referred to as cognition. Now, essence of ethics in human actions. Essence of ethics in human action refers to influence of ethical values in human conduct. Ethics is a set of standards that society places on itself and which help guide the behavior, choice, and action. Okay, just a moment. Till here, all of you, have you got it? Any doubt?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Just a moment. किधर गया? Okay. So we had finished all these things last time. Now I want to talk to you about dimensions of ethics. Okay. I think dimension of ethics, I can leave it for you all to prepare next time. I will teach you all about the strategy of how to prepare for this paper. Is it fine? Will you all prepare for the dimensions of ethics next time? Can we
Yes,
go
sir.
to the strategy?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Have I discussed the strategy before? Hello. Have I discussed the strategy before?
Same the introduction lecture you just gave and
Okay. So now let us see. Let us see. GAS paper 4 title ethics integrity was introduced as part of mains so that we all know. Okay. So section A. So each there are two sections, as you know, in the paper 4. Section A and section B each has 125 marks. Section A includes theoretical questions like now ethics, values, virtues, okay, and the thinkers and so on and so forth. And section B consists of case studies where you will be asked case studies, okay, and based on that you have to, or ethical dilemmas or questions which conflict, and then how you are going to resolve them. So both sections require specific strategies. Overall scoring in ethics paper is a game of keywords. That means it is a, you have to understand the concepts very clearly. Okay, please get this thing very rightly, that we need to have a good understanding of the concepts. Okay, first and foremost. Second thing is awareness about self. That means I must know about myself. What are my values? What are my preferences? What are so on and so forth. Okay, an ability to project oneself as an individual who is pragmatic, practical, and productive while being committed to personal and professional ethics. The nature of examination is of generalist kind. What kind is it? What kind is it?
Generalist.
What did I tell you all before?
We don't have to specialize, but rather
Yes,
generalize.
we don't have to specialize. Yes, that's right. So it is of a generalist kind. Okay. Yeah. Hitherto, UPSC has been asking questions that require application of common sense while keeping ethical principles in mind. Now, importance. Scoring well in ethics paper is sine qua non for featuring in the finalists and getting one's desired service. Like the essay paper, this paper offers maximum returns. With very less efforts, one can score good marks. Thorough preparation also helps in adding the moral dimension in the answers of GS paper 1, 2, 3 papers, and also the essay paper. Okay. So basically, what the UPSC is trying to do through this paper is trying to test whether do you have those required qualities which is required to make of you as a civil servant. Have you all followed? Yes or no?
Yes,
So
sir.
this paper is going to judge whether really do you really have it in you or you don't have it in you. I mean, it will determine many of the qualities that are there. I mean, it will bring it out. Okay, through the questions that the UPSC asks, it's going to bring it out. So what we are going to do, know the syllabus. Basically, first thing that you're going to do is going to study. There are
You
8
are
points.
not audible.
Hello, can you hear me? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Vishaka, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So know the syllabus. Syllabus of ethics is most important. And the keywords, that means you have to find out all the keywords in the syllabus. Okay. And then read limited books, read maybe 1 or 2 books, not more than that. Make notes. Notes help in keeping keywords together in concise form. Must as ethics answer writing is a wordplay. So basically, keyword should come in your answer. Whenever you are writing the answer, the keyword should be highlighted. Okay. Then notes help in keeping. Okay. See all previous year's papers, make note of unique keywords. Ask like Seven Sins, Weber, Rawls, social justice. Use these keywords in your answer. Reading is not as important as answer writing is for ethics. Know the best answer writing structure and technique for both the section A and case studies. Develop examples, very important, from current social issues, professional life, your areas of interest. Examples from the core of answer writing. That's what I already told you. In each and every situation, if you are able to put an example, basing yourself and understanding without giving away your identity. Now, you cannot write down examples classified from Maharashtra. Are you following? You need to sprinkle examples from all across the country. Am I clear what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So now preparation of ethics paper. Ethics paper is designed to evaluate ethical competence, but not the knowledge about ethics. So how ethically competent are we? So not about how much knowledge you have, how much you know, but how ethically competent. Whether are we ethically competent or no, that's exactly what the whole essence of this paper is. One should acquaint oneself with terms mentioned in the syllabus that we have already seen. Like now, for example, to illustrate value mean preferences, ethics means guide about right or wrong, transparency means. So these keywords and the meaning of these keywords should be very clear. That means what is ethics, what are morals, what are values, what are attitudes, what are aptitude, what is beliefs. Are you all following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So relate the terms and values mentioned in the syllabus with one's personal experiences, which I have already told you all. For example, if you are honest, try to recollect events if your life where you demonstrated honesty. Then incidents, you have to try to give incidents like mentioning. Now they have given some incident. We will not go into those. If there is no real life example, be ready with anecdotes from lives of social reformers, leaders, civil servants, and other venerable public figures to illustrate one's point. Okay, so like if you have read in the newspaper or you have heard about some people, then you can give reference to that. Okay, so now they have given various examples. Then also be prepared to use a hypothetical situation if there are no real life examples or anecdotes. Always start such examples with suppose, assume, and so on. Okay. Then answer writing strategy for part A, theoretical portion. Section A generally includes 12 to 13 questions of 10 marks each, amounting to 120 to 130 marks. These are to be answered in 150 words and 2 pages are provided to do the same. 10 marker questions should ideally be answered within 7 minutes. Questions may be analytical or at times theoretical. Answer in ethics can be written both in paragraph or points based on the demand type of the question. It should include the following: that is, introduction, defining the keywords, okay, then the answer body. It can be in points or in paragraph, the dimensions that get covered, okay, then the theories, thinkers, terms that you're going to mention. Okay, so any point that you give in ethics, you cannot give just your personal opinion. Your opinion or my opinion does not hold any ground unless it is justified by the thinkers. Are you all following what I'm saying? ये पॉइंट आपको ध्यान में रखना है. आप लोग समझ रहे हैं मैं क्या बोल रहा हूं?
Yes, sir.
तो आप और मैं क्या सोचते हो उसको इस पेपर में वैल्यू नहीं है जब तक आपका पॉइंट को वैलिडिटी नहीं है. इफ देयर इज नो बैकिंग, नो प्रूफ, नाउ सपोजिंग इफ आई विल से नाउ ओके, इफ आई नो लाइक Newton's law of motion, but I know I have something to back me. If I'm stating Newton's law of motion, I have to be able to give that based on Newton's law of motion, certain things are working. Are you following what I'm saying? Not because I am saying it. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
सम्यक समझ में आ रहा है?
Yes, sir.
Sakshi?
Yes, sir.
Then the examples, then diagrams if required, and conclusion. Case studies, we can see it is somewhat the same thing. I mean, that is based on once you know what exactly are the ethical dilemmas. So we won't get into that right now. You can see the list of ethics recommended books, ARC, fourth report, ethics in public. So you can select one of the books, not need to read everything. ARC is a report, so you can read that report. So either you can go for Ethics Integrity by Subba Rao, or you can look for Karthikeyan, one of the book. Don't go for lexicon. Lexicon is just the definitions. Okay. Have you all followed now what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
Shraddha?
Yes, sir.
Any doubt? Pratik? Hello? I can't hear your voice, Pratik.
So I have a network.
Okay. Aditya?
Yes, sir. Got it.
So, is there any other doubt now for today's lecture? See, now, it will be very good if you all start reading and coming. Okay. If you read and come, it will become much more easier, because if you don't read and come, it becomes, you might find it. And since you all are freshly preparing for this paper, so it might be a little bit of a tricky thing to understand. I mean, because we come with with a lot of kind of our mindset and our preparation, and to align yourself from the mindset that you have been preparing, or the public attitude, to coming to the civil servant attitude, is a very different thing. They are two different things. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Sir, as of now, I don't have the notes of ethics. So from where should we read?
Just a moment. If you all can purchase that book of Karthikeyan,
Okay, sir, it's fine.
कार्तिकेयन आप लोग परचेज कर सकते हो?
Yes, sir. Yes.
And so what about Nitin Singhania?
Nitin Singhania also is okay. But I think that Karthikeyan, one of the books you all can do. That is you who was asking Sakshi, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I think you can do, but Karthikeyan would be better.
Okay, sir.
Okay, then I can share with one of you, if possible, this notes. You all can read this at least for the time being.
Yes, sir. That would be good.
Hmm?
Yes,
So
sir.
if
That
that,
would be.
I think because since you all don't have, then you all can use these notes as a reference and study. But mind you that these notes are not enough. Okay, so they are in a very short form for you to explain. I mean to understand things. Okay, you have to read one particular standard textbook, right?
Sir, for the time being, we can use this, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
So any doubt now you all have?
Sir, as of now, no doubt. But if in case any doubt arises, I'll ask you in the next session.
Yes. Our next session is tomorrow.
Okay then, sir. If anything arises, I'll ask you in the next tomorrow. I'll just skim through your notes first.
See, I put it on the
Then
group, Sagar, to you.
Okay, sir.
Have you received it, Sagar? Message
Yes, sir.
section मध्ये? Huh?
Yes, sir.
1 minute. I will send it to everybody.
So I did share on the group. I had
1 minute. I'm sending it to everyone. Everyone, have you received it now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All of you received it, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So for the time being, all of you can go through it since you have not purchased. But let me tell you that it is better that you purchase a book because I mean it is not very simple only reading from this note because these are very short form things. Okay. So ideally, it is better for either you can go even through Nitin Singhania. Okay, Sakshi.
Yes, sir.
Whichever one is easy, if you understand, you follow that book. Follow one book, or even if two books are also okay, but not nothing more than that. Okay. So I hope the concepts of ethics, virtues, values, beliefs, morals, and today all that we have seen, the determinants and essence of ethics. Is it clear to all of you and the strategy which we are supposed to use to prepare? So tomorrow I will be discussing about the various perspectives, meta ethics, virtue ethics, okay, then the deontology, teleological. So these terms might, so if you prepare and come, try and read from the notes which I have sent it to you all now. So I'll be discussing on these terms. These are going to come various times across when you are preparing in this paper. Even when you are giving answers to case studies, you have to be able to justify from these points. Okay. Am I clear?
yes, sir.
Okay. So let us take the feedback now. We start with Vishaka. Umang.
Yes, sir. So today's lecture was so good as I came to know with very important thing that we should have the point of view of society, not the radical thinking. So it was so useful for me because because I have somewhat the radical thinking. As you talked it about the homosexuality, so to be honest, sir, I am against it. So, but I didn't say it because we have to speak it for the society. So that's why the main question from this um, session was for having the point of view of society, not being of the radical thinking.
But now, okay, Umang, one thing let me correct also here. Society also can be wrong, remember? Huh? And
Yes,
as
yes,
I gave the example of Sati, na, society can be wrong, right?
yes, yes, yes.
So that's where the law comes in. I mean, ethics is ethics. That's why ethics conflicts with the society sometimes. So not always that when the society is saying some things which may be right. Okay, so that's where the ethical value. So obviously, sometimes the societies, I mean, like now the slavery also was justified by those earlier societies. Okay, but it is not that slavery is a justified thing. Okay, so not necessarily always society can be right. So we need to understand the time, the place, the context, okay, the culture, the situation. So ethics accordingly changes. We need to understand that also. Okay, so what may be ethical here in this society may be unethical in another society. I
Yes,
hope you
sir.
got this, Umang. Okay, so don't, I mean, I hope it is very clear. It should not get confused. Huh?
Yes, yes. So thank you for correcting me, sir.
Yeah. So all of you must get this thing very clear that based on the time, the place. As I said, now sati was something which was acceptable to the society, but then later on it was banned. So why it was banned? So therefore, then they understood that it is not an ethical practice. So same way, immediately even here also now in different societies, like slavery was an acceptable norm, but then later on it was completely abolished. So we have to understand the time, place, all these things also matter in ethics. So when we are making a decision, ethical decision, we have to understand. Then the value system of that society also needs to be taken into account. That's why I said it is not just a one-sided view. You cannot look at a topic just from, okay, what an individual feels. It's not just only about an individual. It is a got many dimensions to be seen. The time, the place, the culture, the society, okay, what makes it up. So in particular societies, it is completely unacceptable. Hmm? I hope this is clear to all of you.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Hmm? Okay. So now who else is there now? Wait. Umang has given Siddhi.
Yes, sir. Sir, lecture was good. I would like to say that for this, we have to be as a civil servant. We have to follow the Kautilya's golden mean theory. We have taught it earlier lecture.
Very good.
So,
You are a very intelligent student. So
so
you have understood how what will make you a civil servant. Only if you follow Kautilya's this thing, you are going to get selected. Otherwise, it will be a little difficult. So Siddhi, you understood. The faster we understand, the faster you will get selected.
yes, sir. This theory has been fitted in mind from that lecture. So,
Very good.
to be a civil servant, but in our every day-to-day life also we can follow this theory. We should be a rational, but not radical.
Yes, that's right, Siddhi. Thank you, Siddhi. So good you have remembered the things I have taught in the previous lectures. Hmm?
Sir, with some concept, I'm getting confused. But I'm
Okay.
trying.
No worry, you will get it cleared in this session of yours. Smriti.
Yes, sir. The session was very good. I came to know about very new things, and I learned how I should change my point of view according to the civil servant aspirant.
Good. Shraddha.
Yes, sir. So today's lecture was like very meaningful, and we have learned a lot of things like ethic, moral, and difference between value and belief. And also, I think according to how we are studying right now, there are chances that some values might change later when we become a when we get into civil services. Like because like we have seen like a debatable conflict which we have just seen, so there might be chances it might change, but there are also chances that the law might change till that, if
See,
people
now
like
you all are entrants, na?
people
You
or
all are
leaders
entrants.
like
Correct.
yeah.
Now you all are new entrants into the, you all are just new entrants into the, there is still a vast ocean to learn. And from that, when you learn and when you look at
Yes,
different perspectives, then automatically you will
sir.
understand. Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, overall it was a great session.
Sakshi.
So it was a very insightful session. Like the concepts are much clear, and regarding the examples that actually helped me, to understand more about the content, concepts, and like it get very helpful that that we apply this ethical concepts in our daily life. It gets like it has a better understanding. So yeah, it was a good lesson.
Yes. Pratik.
Yes, sir. Hello.
Huh.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, Pratik.
Sir, lecturer given me the conceptual clarity. Also, it tell me that if I want to be a civil servant, it should not have a essential means. My idea should be not desirable or undesirable. For me, it should be have a conceptual clarity for betterment of others, and one should have a 360-degree mindset, like you said before during the lecture.
Yes, thank you. Samyak.
Sir, very interactive as well as insightful session. As for now, my grasp in ethics is really not that good, but since you explain it so well, I'm getting a hang of it slowly but steadily, and I'll improve, and I'll be on point the next time you ask questions. And I will read through the notes as well as the books so I can pretty much understand what ethics is all about.
Yes, yes. Aditya.
I mean, the interaction part is very helpful because we get to learn from what other people are saying. But I'm not still on not on board with that. So I'll like get back to the Lakshmikant and come back next lecture.
Okay, no problem. Okay. So thank you to all of you. Yes, over to you, Mangesh.
Yeah, thanks, sir, for this session and considering students' feedback. So, meanwhile, I left meeting, but considering students' feedback, so they are much satisfied with this session. Yeah, so whatever assignment and whatever I think PDF is shared by sir with all of you. So I will share to other groups also, and just go through whatever assignment is given by sir. And as ethics is such a subject which is more related to your practical experiences, your observation, and whatever you learn from since from your childhood and so many things. So try to be practical and instead of like book is one thing and practical approach is another thing. Okay, so I would like to say that one should have more and more practical approach with respect to this subject. Yeah, thank you, sir. So I'm ending this session. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you.